Okay, so this is a re-commentary over my first round game in the Kilpeat Open Tournament. I did record it. I'm re-recording over it because I say like 40 words in the entire thing, so it was pointless. And some people want to have a bit more of an explanation as to things which I did in the game, why I did it that way. So I thought I'd re-record over it. Also, I can like draw and show you things which I'm talking about as well. So if you see these bits pop up at the bottom, it's because it's a recording, obviously. Um, but yeah, I'll play it. So round one is just classic map, fixed cards, alliances on, no portals, no fog, no blizzards, and yeah, total domination. So last person to live. So you can do a bit of communication with the alliances on, but otherwise it's just about seeing how things go. I'm playing in white, and I'm like a rookie. I'm novice level, I think. I don't play very much ranked, but doing all of that, I've now randomly got some talking coming from that. So let's move that music on. At the start, I'm a bit panicky because I always play as blue. So in this game, I've ended up playing white, and so I'm just focusing, making sure I don't forget that I am the white colour. You can see I'm extremely spread out. Everybody who I'm playing with three grandmasters, and I'm playing with two masters. And being a novice, that gives me the willies. So I know a little bit about how to play. I know some basic strategies and things like that. I don't like going for Australia. But it was definitely by far going to probably be my best play, as all of my material was stuck out in Asia. So at the beginning, I'm just focused on getting all of my material together, seeing where the other players sort of land, and just trying to sort of stay focused, not create any enemies, because I know people can have fickle minds when it comes to a game of Risk. I can see Blue signalling that he wants to move his troops out of here. And the best way for him to do that is if I move my 4 out of the way. Realistically, I want to move my 4 down to the Middle East, but I don't want to have to go through a 2 unnecessarily. So I'm looking elsewhere to be able to start putting my troops to attack a 1 to get my card for turn 1 and see where we go. And I think the best one at this point for me is I could either go and attack one of these red ones. I know, again, see, even in the recording, I'm getting it wrong. I'm white, I'm not blue. But I think I end up going for the Africa spawn and going up into East Africa. But I'm spending a lot of my time thinking about it, making sure I play good plays and things. I don't want any of my smaller stacks to be knocked out from anywhere. But I'm also not wanting to cut myself off from any potential positions which might go up. But as you see, I'll put my 3 early troops in, take the 1 of reds, which I know doesn't bother them at all. And then I just sit there. I am thinking about moving all of my like using that 4 which I've just moved. I was initially thinking about stacking here and attacking down into Africa, putting all of my early troops there. So then I could maybe have the claim of Africa and force other people to go elsewhere. But I wanted to keep blue in good mind with me, and it's suddenly gone. And so yeah, I did it that way. It worked out okay. I can see black's already thinking about coming out of Australia, which didn't work too badly for me, but definitely worse things have happened. So now in the rest of this early game, it's just waiting and seeing what other people want to do and making sure I don't make myself an easy target. So this spawn over in South America, that would end up being really useful for me, of making sure stacks are out and about. And also creating an early friend in blue by moving out and sort of hurting myself a little bit to help him, because obviously I want my troops going down this way, because I think Africa's going to be one of the best places for me. Australia's a bit of a trap. Whoever gets Australia, you're so unlikely to win. And you're just likely to probably come forth without a bounty because you get teamed up on pretty quick. So I've made a friend with blue because I've moved out and given him an easy line to move his troops up into Europe. which I can now see he's fighting with green player, so he might not stay there for too long. Yellow's got a decent stack in South America, but obviously there's three other players all there with many stacks, so it's going to cost him a lot of material to get through all those aerials. So I think he's a little bit in no man's land right now as well, and just trying to get all of his troops together. And that's the main sort of thing which you got to do early on in the game, is just don't over attack, don't spread yourself thin, and just try and get as your armies together to make you a bit more of a threat in the first few turns. See what kills become available, and try and survive, and hopefully try and get a continent as well. So already kind of at this point, green's sort of aiming for Europe. Blue's got a fair bit of material around Europe as well. Blue's got a bit of a claim on North America along with black. Red's one looking like he's going to want South America. Sorry, Africa. Yellow's looking like they might want South Africa, which sort of leaves me only really Australia. Obviously, black's still got a bit of a claim on it. I moved down to give black a way to get his troops up to join the rest of his armies, and I signal that at some point I'd quite like to get my Japanese 3 out, which he signals is all good, because obviously I've made allies with everybody at this point. And I'm just trying to get all of my outlying armies into just 1 or 2 places, so that it's easier for me to attack. It's also easier for me to defend, because it's harder for early people to take my teams. Once we start getting to trade-ins, that's when I need to maybe be a bit more worried about people trying to snaffle me up. But at this point, I'm fairly confident I'm making friends with a lot of people. Red seems to be wanting to put claims in 3 countries at the moment, but my hope was if I slam my army into Australia, it would show him that he can't mess with it. Now at this point as well, I'm waiting massively to see what Yellow does, because I'm very aware that Yellow could go back into Africa and fight Red for it. Yellow could start putting troops in Australia and fight me and Red for it, or he could double down on the South America where he would get trapped. And so wherever he goes, I want to go a different way. If he goes into Africa, I want to go into Australia. If he stays in South America, I want to go to Australia. But if he goes to Australia, I want to be able to slam into Africa and try and use my ever so slight troop advantage to sort of win over a claim there. And you can see that Red's wanting me to attack Yellow as well. But I think that's honestly just because he wants me to get my fucking troops out. So you can see Yellow wastes his troops in Australia. So I'm now feeling a bit more confident about just going in, taking the Australia bonus, asking Red to attack out. I've only got 2 horses, so I'm not set up to get a 10-man on 3, which would have really helped. But we play with it, we work with it, we see how everything goes. And it's all just sort of trying to find that spot where you can either win a war, take somebody out to get a bounty, because once Red has now just put more troops in Australia, I'm like, I don't want that to continue happening. And then he leaves the open free for me. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe I can hit somewhat of an agreement with him. If I go in, I slam if I slam the 3 which is in there, I'm showing Red my intent of, look, I want it. Can you get the hell out, please? And then I lost slightly too many troops than I wanted to on that attack, so I then also do a second attack to be able to move my 4 onto my 8 to further strengthen it there, and also give Red an easy line all the way through if he wants to move those troops out. However, at that point, it's made me extremely nervous about Red. Red's got fantastic kill lines on me everywhere, apart from for my Japanese 3 here. They've got a couple, which they could put here to take out my 3. They've got a 10 here to be able to come and destroy these outliers. If they've got a good set, they can set on this 5 and they can kill me. At this point, I needed to take a quick snapshot of the game ID for the staff and admins of the tournament, so that they can monitor them, make sure nobody's cheating, make sure the code's all legit and everything like that. So I take a quick snip of the chat ID and I send it over on the Discord, so that the admins can see it as well and they can make sure everything's legit with our game, which always helps. So the way the tournament works is for the first 6 rounds, nobody's getting eliminated. There's like 1,000 players in it or something ridiculous. But nobody can be knocked out in the first 6 rounds. You get 2 points for every place you get, so it goes 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 from 6th to 1st. So first player gets 12 points, 6th player gets 2 points. Also, for every kill you make, so if you knock somebody out of the game, that's worth a bounty. And your first bounty is worth 3 points. Your second bounty is worth 3 points. Your third bounty is worth 2 points. And then your fourth and your fifth bounties are worth 1 point each. So a perfect game, if you came first and killed everybody, would get you 22 points. There are some other ways to point on different game modes and things, but for this round, it's irrelevant. I didn't record this with the intention necessarily of putting it up, but a few people have asked if they could see it, and I am happy to do a little bit of commentary over it and put it up so then other people can maybe, hopefully, and if you haven't had your round 1 game yet, you can maybe learn from some of my mistakes. Or Yellow's. So you can see here, Yellow's made himself all in one place. He's got these 3 1 provinces in Africa, and then he's got a 19 on Brazil here. Which means if somebody's got a big enough army, they could just crash through that, they knock a player out, they get their cards, which is 3, which is a beautiful amount of cards to be able to get. And they knock somebody out of the game, so they're getting themselves an extra 3 points, plus technically an extra 2, because you've increased your minimum position by 1. So these early kills, they're worth 5 points. I'm making sure I'm just sending love hearts around to everybody, so that hopefully nobody gets too pissed off with me. But at this point, I get very scared, because it's now Red's turn. They're getting 3 from their turn anyway. They then hand in an early 10 troop set, and you see they put them all on Australia. And I'm like, I'm dead. They wipe me out here, and they just attack right, and they don't. But they're my friend, and they fuck off to Africa. My heart dropped then and then leapt up again, so I sent them 2 love hearts just to sort of try and make sure I kept them on side. I checked my cards. I've only got 3 horses, which obviously I trade in because I need every little help I can get at this point, and I commit to the Australia play because there's also only green and red have got countries, so even if it is just a +2, it's getting me back into the game because I'd fallen maybe a little way behind. Yellow, though, is definitely now the worst player because they're only in 1 spot, and that's only a 19 stack. Black is still just trying to get a little bit of material around the board. They end up going into Asia to make themselves what they feel, just try and get their material together. But now Green puts in a big stack, and they've also got Europe, so that's 18 troops they all put in one place, and they swing for the yellow kill. Unfortunately, missing it by a gnat's knacker. Now, that puts Green in a bit of an awkward position because they've got Europe, which everybody wants to take, but they've also only got 25 troops. They are nicely scattered around the board, though, whereas Yellow has just traded in also a 10 stack. That's 3 players who have got an early 10 trade. And Yellow now decides to take on the role of a player like Blizzard, where they don't want to get any cards because then they're giving cards to the enemy and making themselves look like a more attractive kill. They don't want to get a spread out too much because that makes them easier to kill. But if they have a phantom squad of 17 which isn't taking any territories, isn't getting any cards, they can dissuade people from attacking them. Because what's the point at the moment from going through a 17 stack to get nothing? You're weakening yourself so much. And also, with a big stack, if anybody else becomes weak, they can maybe lash out with their stack they will get over the time. So unless there's big misplays by other people, yellow's almost guaranteed to be soon gone from this world. But also, what works massively for me is, yes, I am over here in Australia. I'm a little bit secluded from the rest of the world. And also, I won't be getting anywhere near as much as green's going to be getting in Europe, and blue's soon going to be getting in North America. But green's going to struggle to kill me because they would have to go through all of North America to get to this 3. Blue's going to kill me because they're going to have to split to get this, guaranteed sort of get this 3 and get my Australia. Red's the only one who's sort of got a decent line on it, but I'm trying to make sure I don't take this for as long as possible, which I'm about to take anyway. Unless I attack out from the Japan to try and get the value from it. Yeah, I attack out from Japan to try and give it some value, and also it stops red from being able to find a line to come back and kill me. Black's obviously in a very terrible position as well, where they're now homeless. Red did a little 2-shot into green because green had moved his army away from being able to retaliate. So it was a good little move by red there to try and maybe slow down the green a bit. But now black is like, I either have to make a play or I lose. So black's moving all of his material over to see how weak green is, because green is very weak. And black's like probably thinking, if I don't make a move soon, I'm not long for this world. And there's only one person who he could theoretically make the kill on and get a continent out of it, and that's going to be green at this point. So I'm like, okay, kind of just want to stay out of your way. I'm sending the love hearts to blue, like you've got nothing to worry about. I helped you early game. I've moved out of your way. You're in a really nice place now. Don't forget your homies. Don't kill me once you've got North America, please. And he sends around the save to everybody and the knuckles. So I'm feeling okay at this point, but I'm also still horribly aware that I'm a very attractive plus basically still 5 points. Because like I explained earlier, 3 from the bounty, plus you increase your minimum position by 2. So that is value to anybody, realistically. I'm a little bit worried that I could be going out first, but I'm also thinking, well, surely somebody's going to take out yellow before me. But they are becoming a blizzard, and you're not going to get anything for it. So that's an easy way to dissuade somebody from attacking them. And hopefully green will go out before me, because hopefully black's about to do this big attack. So let's just try and stay a bit understated, and I then start to really become aware of my place over in South America. And I'm like, look, let's make that stack a little bit better so it's not easy for red to kill it, or for yellow to kill it to make me an attractive target. Let's just use it over there, because also if green wants to get me out of here, or if black wants to get me out of here, they've got to go through either red or blue and this yellow stack. So that yellow stack's working as a bit of a wall for me and red at the moment as well. As now you see that the black make the move on green. We'll take the green bounty. We'll take Europe and gets himself a nice bounty kill and a continent and out of a really sticky situation. So now you see black set up there, and I'm like, okay, I'm out of the 4 main players still in this game, me, red, black, and blue, I'm in the weakest position. Yellow's obviously in a weaker position, but they've played it so smart to make themselves so unattractive to kill. They're not getting cards, they're not doing nothing, they don't impact anybody's game, they work as a barrier and a boundary to both blue and red, and they sort of block the kills on me and red and blue. So I'm now just thinking, where do I come from with this? I'm trying to make allies with people. I'm trying to see if we can make a joint attack on somebody. I'm like, look guys, black's really weak at the moment. I'm more than happy to maybe do the first attack, weaken out some of their out things, get rid of their bonus if then somebody else wants to go in for the kill. Because yeah, right, it's not me getting the kill, but it's me getting effectively an extra 2 points. I don't care other people getting the kill at this point. I just want to get maybe third. I'm aiming for. Um, my ultimate objective is to try and get double digits in every single round. I think if I can get an average of double digits in every single round before I'm eliminated, I'll be mostly happy with that. So realistically, if I can get it all the way through to Group 8, I would like to have around about 80 points, preferably more. I would like my average to get me up to about 90 points. And after round 8, only the top 48 players in the world, or in the tournament, sorry, go through. So if I'm not part of that, if I've got still around about 90 points, I'd be really happy with that. But yeah, we just got to sort of see how it goes. Round 2 settings look really exciting. I might end up doing another video for that as well based on this. And if people enjoy it and people enjoy seeing my journey through the tournament, we'll have that there to try and help. But so now at this point, yeah, I've got a 35 stack here. So for now, I feel quite comfortable. However, everything really slows down for a little while. I'm constantly worried about maybe this 34 coming down and slamming me. Because obviously Blue's got access to my 7 over here now, which I keep on making a little bit stronger. And then I'm asking other people, look, do you want to be attacking Blue? And nobody's answering back. So I'm asking Black, look, maybe you attack Blue by going up and taking this spot, because how can he retaliate to that? He can't. And also, you've got the same amount of troops. Until now, when suddenly that big 52 comes on. And when I see that 52, and I see him take me out of Japan, I'm like, is he? So I'm very panicky that he's starting to think about taking the kill on me. Because it wouldn't be difficult for Blue to get that kill on me, especially once he gets another set. Because he can always set over here, use that to take out my position there, and then just slam down and he gets himself Australia. And true, he's then probably not very long for this world, but if he could chain that into getting a yellow kill, that's 2 bounties Blue would have, and a minimum of third. Which would be a huge amount of points. That would be 8 points for placement, 6, so that would be 14 points, which anybody would be happy with. But Black doesn't answer me back at all, so now I'm asking Blue, look, should we attack Black? And Blue's just like, no, I don't want to attack Black. And I'm like, well, that's scary. All right, how about we attack Red then? And I think, again, he comes back with, nah, I don't want to attack Red. So I'm thinking, okay, shit, well, I need to make my boundaries stronger. And I put my group of 40 in here, and I'm starting to think, okay, I need to do something before I get taken out of this game. Because in my eyes, it was not long until Blue flew down and wiped me out, which terrified me. So I'm now looking across at that yellow. I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to be out of this game fairly soon, I need to at least secure myself a bounty to boost my points up a little bit better. So I'm looking at that yellow kill, and I'm like, okay, I'm probably at the stage now where I can kill it, and I'm really, really worried about that blue player coming down. And I don't want to miss my opportunity of going down and taking out yellow. I don't want to wait so long that blue comes and takes me out, and I miss the opportunity of killing it. So I'm checking my cards. I've only got 2 cards, so I haven't got a set. I could preferably do with a few more cards. I'm constantly thinking about my position. I'm getting really panicky at this point. Getting really, really nervous because it's a fine line between just sit here and hope they fight each other, or using the skills I've got to maybe try and do something else. And I see that yellow now is sending me the odd message about me attacking blue, because obviously I could move that 7 in and take North America. But I don't want to lie to him. I don't want to trigger him and sort of say, yeah, I will do it, and then obviously never do it. So at this point, I'm like, nah. But I'm also not going to re-attack you, buddy. So I take my card, I move on, and like I said, it's a fine line for me of whether I strike across, I use all of my troops to knock yellow out, and I accept I'm probably going to be coming fourth with a bounty, which would be 9 points. And like I was saying before this game, I wanted to get about 10. And as long as I got 10, I'd be happy. So I'm like, you know what? In the position I'm in, I'm not in a very good position. Everybody's going to be getting more than me apart from yellow. Well, I might as well optimize the points I've got. Your blue at any point could come down and ruin my game, because blue might not even try and wipe me out of the game. He might just come down and take Australia for himself and convince yellow to attack me. Especially with the amount of troops they're getting. They're getting 9 per turn because they're owning 12 territories. They're getting the +5 from North America. So my position's getting weaker and weaker and weaker in comparison to blue and black, and very slowly red as well. And I'm an attractive target for people. So again, I'm thinking, do I go across this time? And then I think in a minute you'll probably see me check my cards, and you'll see I don't have a set. Which then puts me in a more tricky scenario, and I'm also thinking at any point red could come up and sort of block my line as well. And I think about strengthening in South America, which I do a little bit just because I don't want to be taken out from there, and I see that red also strengthened it. But I need another card, so I've just got to hope that blue hesitates for another turn, that my goodwill towards him has earned me him not striking me down quite yet, because I did a few favours for him in the early game. I've been nice, and then I look at my cards, and as you've just seen there, 2 horses, 2 men, I'm going to be stuck on 5 cards as an extremely attractive Australia target. Why would somebody not kill me when, like, blue could kill me now and immediately be able to trade in again after just trading in for a 10 set and be in a really strong position? And I'm getting more nervous because I've seen that blue's just added 5 down in South America, in sort of the Argentina area. So blue's got 9 down here just above my noggin, just here. Blue's got 9 there. So blue's got 9, red's got 8, I've got 9. Then there's the blizzard yellow 35. So it's all really tense down in South America, and I'm running through everything. Like, would I be happier if I just sit here and hope that somebody either takes out yellow or somebody takes out red or somebody else, or what do I do? I can probably scratch it if I attack now with the 46 versus 35, but obviously first of all I've got to get there. So I'm like, okay, one more turn I give this, see what set I get, and then I make my attack. Just there, I got a dude. So I've now got a trade for 10, where I've got 1 man, 1 horse, and 1 cannon. And I've potentially got another 10 coming if I'm lucky enough to get another dude. So this is the time I'm going to have to smash, because blue is getting massive up in that top right corner. And why would he attack anybody but me? I'm a more attractive target than red. I'm a more attractive target than yellow. I've got 5 cards in my hand. Red suddenly comes through though and tells me to attack black, which I suddenly think about, but I'm like, well, that doesn't work well for me. That doesn't end well for me. I have to attack yellow now. And so I'm like, look, I will do these things unless somebody helps me. Nobody's sort of willing to go in. I'm like, yeah, red. And if I'll be honest, if red had taken Ukraine here and burst that black bubble, I would have doubled down on the black attack, joined up with red, and I would have gone in. But he doesn't, and he just goes straight back to Africa. So I'm like, okay, I've got to play for myself here. I've got a set. I'm going to put in that set, along with the 5 I'm getting from my 3 normal and my 2 from Australia. Here's my 10 set. I'm also going to whack that on, so now I've got 65 cards. That's still nothing compared to both red, black and blue. So let's get through. Let's clear the line. I'll break both of these bonuses. Now the only thing I would change about this is I don't think I'd attack black. I think attacking black here really pissed him off, but I wanted to open up his stack in case he wanted to go into red or he wanted to go into blue or something like that. But also, it's just made it really easy for him to kill me. So I think about maybe now I wipe out yellow. I've just got myself a bounty, and now I'm like, okay, now I just need to try and survive for as long as possible. Do I move all the way back to Australia? Or do I now colonize South America and give somebody Australia a sort of, hey, look, don't attack me? And I think the end sort of goal plan was to move back to Australia, but I also didn't now want to abandon this 9 over here. But really, I should have just moved straight back to Australia, just cocooned myself off over there, and trooped moved the 9 over to join me. Because then I would have had, what, 36 over on this point? Because one would have stayed over there, which would have helped so much. And I think maybe would have made me a less attractive kill. Now, I do survive a round or two, and I'm really tempted to go in and smash blue, because obviously I've got my big stack next to him, and he's clearly panicking a little bit, and I'm sort of telling him, look, why don't you come take Australia or take black? I'm not bothered about breaking you, but obviously it looks like I am, because the other thing I should have probably done is stayed here and troop moved the 9 from here onto me. But now with blue moving here, it traps me, and that's not really what I wanted to do. Because if I'd had this group here, I think he wouldn't have attacked there. I would have had all of my open provinces, and I could have maybe attacked him. But he just wanted to get a card, not change his position too much. I think he wanted to try and see what I was going to do. Ultimately, at this point, I'm now starting to think about backdooring black. But now also black and red have got their noggins to each other over that thing. And that can cause an awful lot of tension. So I trade in my other 10. This is why I wish I'd stayed now down there. But I'm like, hey, look, blue, why don't you attack round behind me, get this 7 off into your main troop, and then I can take South America, and maybe I can survive with South America and Australia. But also I'm feeling fairly confident that black and red are now at this stalemate, so they should leave me the fuck alone. Black hands in this set. Black's not going to want to break red, otherwise he's going to incur the wrath of red. So I'm fairly happy that black's going to leave me the fuck alone on this turn. I'm also fairly happy that red's going to leave me the fuck alone, because he can't get to me, because he has troop blocked himself to me. And then you see this hero play by blue as he comes flying down, and he puts his knob up alongside these twos and goes, look, mine is bigger. And then he slams it into red, and he knocks red out before me. And I thought maybe he's just doing that to come across to me, but then I was like, wonder what would be the point? He would take out my big stack, but he's leaving me Australia, which would then feed the kill to black. But he's taken red out of the game, maybe because red has done nothing this game but keep himself locked, and I got somewhat rewarded. So now I find myself in a position where I'm definitely going to be out of this game, but that's going to be third and a bounty, which is a brilliant 11 points. Bearing in mind I made a decision which pretty much solidified me getting 9 points. Being able to get those other 2 by an awesome play by a friend like that almost is hugely beneficial. And then you see that Blue's moved his stack up to sort of threaten, look, I'm coming at you, black. What are you going to do about it? And at this point, I think I should have got the fuck out of black's way. I still didn't want to take the 7. And I could see that Blue was sort of liking me, so to speak, sending me the love hearts. I had a few troops left over, and I was trying to sort of be convincing to either black or to blue. Look, if you want to kill me, maybe just don't kill me, and maybe just take Australia instead. I haven't got a continental threat in my then at that point. So it was a risky sort of thing I was doing. In hindsight, I think I now should have used my 36 stack to just cause havoc across the board, because then maybe black goes, actually, I need to kill fucking blue, and slams blue's big stack. That's the best thing I think now with hindsight I could have done at this point. But I was on such a high from suddenly going from fourth with a bounty to third with a bounty that I didn't really think about it too much. And black just takes the opportunity to knock me out whilst also causing big pain to black by just running through the board. And I'm fine with this. I'm now out of the game, but black has got now 2 bounties and second. So black's looking at 16 points. I've got 11 points. Blue's got a bounty, so blue's also currently sat on a minimum of 13 points. But we find out post game that black has now lagged and he hasn't been able to move his troops out from where he killed me, which has really sort of rogered him a little bit, because he's trapped all of his troops and blue can now just run amok across the board, and black can't do anything about it with that massive stack he's got for a turn, which solidifies the game for blue, because blue's most likely going to have a set and a crap ton of troops from all of these. So unfortunate for black for lagging out and having a bit of a bug where he couldn't move his troops. It does really suck for him because he was in such a good position to then win that game. But he's got 16 points at the end of the day. The difference between 16 and 18 is very little. But it does now mean that blue gets so many. He just puts them all on there and he just slams into the stack and blue wins the game. So blue gets 18 points, black gets 16 points, I get 11 points, red got 6 points, yellow got 4 points, and green got 2 points. And yeah, it was a big game. I immediately liked everybody. It was a GG to everybody. I was extremely happy after that game. I wasn't happy with my position. I could have potentially wrangled a second if I'd used that 34 stack to go nuts across the board and try and convince other people to help me. But like I said, I'm more than happy with third and a bounty. But yeah, nothing low to sort of say about with that game. As you can see, I'm only a beginner, and the others in that game are all master and above. So 11 points in that sort of lobby, I'll take any day. But I hope you enjoyed it. I probably will post my other games at some point. Hopefully, maybe my live commentary will be a little bit better, so I don't need to do like a post-game commentary like this. But I hope you guys have all had fun in your games. And hopefully I'll get to play against a few of you. And I know this has brought a lot of players into Risk, which will be great for the community, great for the ladder, and great for the game modes and stuff coming out, as it'll incentivize Hasbro to maybe release a little bit more, or SMG, I think, are the producers of a video game. But yeah, all the best. See you guys in a bit. Toodle poodles.